Hello there and welcome back to a new video. So we know that Rig Veda is the oldest text in the Indian subcontinent or Bharat, and its origins are still unknown. If you take the mythology, it said that the Vedas are Shrutis, that which have been heard. So the rishis who penned down the Vedas heard it from some unknown source, and it was orally transmitted for a very long time, for centuries, until it was written down in palm leaves. Solving the origins of Rig Veda would also mean understanding where the Indian civilization or the civilization we have today actually began. And we have a lot of theories about how this civilization started. There is the Aryan invasion theory, which basically says that a superior race of Aryans came from Iran and invaded the subcontinent and spread their culture here. Now there is Aryan migration theory or Indo-Aryan migration, which takes a much softer stand. Or they say that there was no conflict involved, but there was a step-by-step migration of the people from Iran into the Indian subcontinent, and they mixed with the existing civilizations or culture or people here. And they brought the Indo-Aryan languages into the subcontinent. Along the same lines, there are some historians who claim that Rig Veda was actually part of the liturgy of the people in Iran or the Indo-Aryans, and they brought it along with them when they migrated from Iran into India in the 1800 to 1500 BCE. So how did all of this happen? That is what we will look at in this video. There have been multiple collision of ancestry between the Iranian and the Indian or the people in Indian subcontinent. By collision of ancestry, we basically mean that there is a link or there is a mixing of two civilizations or two cultures or people from two races or geographical boundaries and so on. By 1700 BCE, the cities in the Indus Valley Civilization were being abandoned and the civilization was disintegrated. And the major cause for that could be the degradation and drying up of the Saraswati River or the Khagar River. And it is believed that the existing people of the Indus Valley Civilization may have moved to the Yamuna-Ganga basin. And it was in this time that the second steppe migration or the Indo-Aryan migration began. And this happened in waves, and it is largely attributed to climate change and drought-like situation in the Iranian plateau. And it was during this migration that Indo-Aryan languages were transmitted to the Indian subcontinent from Iran. Now, eminent historians also claim that during the Indo-Aryan migration, the languages like Sanskrit and texts like Rig Veda were also brought along from Central Asia. The Rig Veda Samhita, which is the oldest part of Rig Veda, is believed to have been composed in 1400 to 1000 BCE. But the beliefs and practices in the Vedas are also closely linked to the Proto-Indo-European religions or the Indo-Iranian religion. As per the archaeological evidences, some of the Indo-Europeans settled in the Oxus River Valley and the Iranian plateau, and others moved to the north and west, where their languages evolved into the languages of Europe. David Anthony, who is the author of the book The Horse, the Wheel and Language, that the old Indic religion probably emerged among the Indo-European migrants in the contact zone between Zarafshan River and Tajikistan. The spiritual text of the people belonging to the Bactria Margiana Archaeological Complex has a lot of similarities with the Rig Veda. The Yas culture of Bactria-Margiana has been regarded as a likely archaeological reflection of early Eastern Iranian culture, which eventually became Zoroastrianism. And the Avesta is said to be the text written by Zoroaster. Avesta and Rig Veda has very similar languages and grammar. If you follow a simple pattern, you can actually convert the entire text of Avesta into classic Sanskrit. And all of these words are very similar in Sanskrit and in Avesta. This has made a lot of historians to believe that Rig Veda and Sanskrit has come out of the BMAC culture. The words like Deva and Soma are in both texts, and there is a word Ahura in Avesta, which could be the other word for Asura. And gods like Indra and Varuna and Yama are all present in both of these texts. And even demons' names are also correlated in these texts. And when we find mentions of dasas or dasyus in the Vedas, there is dahi or dahyus in the Iranian texts. So all of this make the historians believe that Rig Veda actually came from Avesta. And I have also made a very detailed video about the Arya and Dasa question and who are the Aryans. So if you are interested, please do check them out. Well, it goes without saying that I don't have a sponsor yet. But not to worry, I will sponsor my own video. More precisely, my book with. This is the first book that I wrote. It's a realistic fiction novel about 4 teens in a city enmeshed in a life of drugs, love, violence and chaos. A tale of isolation and desperation one feels among known strangers in an unknown city. Well, this book is available on Amazon and Flipkart. The links will be in the description. I will also share the link to the video trailer of the book. So check them out. And now back to the video. The historians believe that Rig Veda was brought along by the people who migrated from BMAC into India at a later period. And that is also why they clashed between the known Vedic people who were already existing in the Indian subcontinent, who actually had migrated from Iran at an earlier period. And that's why there are mentions of Aryas and Dasas in Rig Veda. But there are some very fundamental differences to this as well. And those differences are really interesting. So, in the Vedic text, we have 2 types of civilizations. One is the Asuras and other is the Devas, and they are in clash with each other. But in the Avestan culture, there is only one great god called Ahura, which is the Iranian way or the Persian way of saying Asura. And his name is Masta, Ahura Masta. And Indra is a bad character in Avesta. And Varuna or Indra are enemies in the Avestan text. The early Vedic period is believed to be from 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE, and this is also the time when the Vedas, especially the Rig Veda, was compiled. If you look at the Vedic scriptures, especially Rig Veda, it talks about the Battle of 10 Kings, which was led by Sudhas of the Bharata tribes as the beginning of the Vedic period. Now, I've made a video on this. You can definitely check that out if you're interested to know more. Anyway, there is the Sapta Sindhu, which is considered to be the cradle of the Aryan people, Bharatas, who waged a war against the confederation of 10 tribes, allegedly over the dispute of water of the Ravi river. And the Bharatas were able to win that battle against the 10 tribes, and they went on to create the Kuru kingdom, which started the Vedic period. And then they moved on to the Ganga-Yamuna basin after a lot of wars there as well, and they were able to expand the Kuru kingdom to the entire region, starting what is the civilization as we see today. So as we see here, Rig Veda does not make any mention about a migration from the west or from Iran. It just starts with Saptasint. There are too many discrepancies and contrasting figures in these two religious texts that it's completely polar opposites of each other. Evil people in the Avestan text have become the gods in the Rig Veda, and the gods in Avesta are actually asuras or demons in our tradition. And how the historians explain it away is by saying that these two tribes were in conflict, and that could be the reason why they had to move apart and create their own civilizations in two different areas. But then there are way too many discrepancies and differences between these two texts for that argument to hold as well. This article illustrates it in a much better way. There is no time to go into all of that. So if you're interested, please do check it out. Now, it is true that the Indo-Aryan migration did happen, and the Proto-Indo-Iranian language did come out of the Proto-Indo-European language, which then became Sanskrit and Devanagari and led to the writing of the Avesta and Rig Veda and so on. This is a fact by evidence. And they did bring along a lot of beliefs and practices, and a big chunk of our culture does originate from the Indo-Iranian migration, or the Iranian people who came into this land. We know that Indus Valley Civilization was a very advanced civilization which also had agricultural and urban planning, all of that already in place. So it is possible that there was a mixture of culture and civilization which created the Vedas and the Vedic period and all that came after that in the subcontinent. It just doesn't have to be what was brought alone. By saying that Rig Veda is a continuation of Avesta, it's like saying that human beings are a continuation of apes or primates. It's true that we could have common ancestry, but common ancestry does not mean one originated from the other. It was still subject to a lot of circumstantial and environmental and other factors into the creation of two different species or cultures or civilizations. So I think it's way too simplistic and scientifically untrue or incorrect to say that just because there are some similarities between two religious texts or spiritual practices, one originated from the other. Unless, of course, we have a clear way to trace that path. So what do you think about that? Did Rig Veda originate from Avesta, and was the Vedic period a continuation of Indo-Aryan civilization? Please let me know in the comment section. I'm eager to hear from you. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with somebody. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. So until we meet next time, bye bye.